Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Drum's Programmatic Punch webinar. Joining me here in the Drum Tower studio, I've got two heavyweights of the programmatic publishing world. Fighting out of northwest London, we have Mr. Ronan Shields. I'm not going to say heavyweight because you fit that shirt rather well, sir. Ronan's the digital editor here at the Drum. And then fighting out of probably a posh part of London, it's Justin Pearse, a definite flyweight. Plenty of bag in his shirt, and he'll be helping Ronan with some of the questions today. My name's Andy Oakes. I'm head of content and managing director at the Drum. I'll be refereeing this bout. You can also join in. The question poll, our question panel is open. You can see that on the right-hand side of your screen. Anything you want to ask, do let us know. I can't guarantee we'll answer it, but we'll give it a go. So let's kick off. What is Programmatic Punch? Why on earth are we sitting in this faintly overly warm studio? And what are we up to this morning? So, Programmatic Punch is an event we're doing in 3 weeks' time in central London and at the Hospital Club. I can pretty much guarantee this is the first event that will feature a boxing ring. It's the first event that will ever see me, Justin Pearse and Ronan in boxing equipment. There will be gloves, there will be fights. Yeah, sorry, but I hadn't told you that bit. And this is going to be a lot of fun. We've all been to programmatic trading events where lots of men in suits stand up and talk tech at you, they talk acronyms. That's not what we're going to do. To give you a flavour of that, we're going to run through a little bit of the programme, but we're going to give our views on it. So not only do you hear about our event, you get to hear our views. It's going to be a lot of fun. So the way we're going to do it, round one, moving on to a review of 2015. Ronan, what do you think have been the biggest events in this space over the last year?
Okay, so with AdTech in 2015, I think probably what's the biggest story has been pretty much the one that's been for the last 2 years, and that's been the ongoing consolidation in the industry and the effects that has on the media trading landscape. Probably the biggest one is actually a series of 2 acquisitions. That would be the US mobile operator Verizon buying AOL for $4.4 billion, I think it was. I remember that conveniently happened when I was on holiday. So I'm getting a lot of text messages from my editor whenever I was abroad. That was very quickly followed by AOL, which had just been purchased by Verizon, then buying Millennial Media and buying it. Millennial was previously a publicly listed company, and they've taken it private again. So this is quite interesting. A lot of people are touting that as like one of the big ad stacks in inverted commas to rival Facebook, Google. Having spoken with the people at AOL who are probably going to be presenting at the event, they have a very different philosophy on how media should be treated. So that should be interesting to throw into the mix. That and there's several other big purchases.
And what about Ronan? We've got here one of our first speakers, Sammy Austin at TUI. Now, when she was at Money Supermarket, she was renowned for the work she did in bringing programmatic in-house. Yeah. And bringing programmatic in-house has been a debate we've gone for a while now. Do you think back, I don't know, 5, 8 years ago, it's the same sort of debate that went on with search, and we saw it happen to a great degree. I think that's, again, an interesting trend in the industry. We're seeing a lot of talk about programmatic being taken in-house by brands. But I'd say arguably less proof of it really happening.
Yeah, I'd agree. Well, you do hear a lot of people citing the previous search being brought in-house, and then people going like, oh God, this is really hard. Actually, we should just outsource this back to our agency. So a lot of the people that I speak to who are from that ad tech background, so maybe they would say that, but they are that's certainly the bravado that they come out with. What won't be good at the event is that we could hear, hopefully, different points of view saying, well, no, that's rubbish, etc.
Next up on the panel, we're going to have Paul Gubbins. He's head of programmatic EMEA at Millennial Media, who we've discussed. One of the main reasons of having Paul on the panel, it's just easier to pull him out of the audience. The man is one of the most ferocious questioners at events. But it would be interesting to hear, Millennial are the big mobile play with the AOL, but how has mobile moved the market this year?
Well, haven't you heard it was the year of mobile?
It's been the year of mobile ever since we were all boys.
Yeah, easy joke. Basically, so mobile has driven a lot of demand for cross-screen campaigns. Arguably, this was one of the reasons why AOL bought Millennial Media, to try and get that cross-screen play in. I think if you're talking about mobile and programmatic in 2015, it's impossible to ignore just how well Facebook are doing. In their last quarterly results, they did 76% of their total revenue was mobile. When you think about Justin, you and I working together when Facebook first listed, and they were going to get sued because they couldn't monetize mobile. Within 4 years, 76% of the revenue. I mean, that's just absolutely astounding. Now, the reason they're able to do that, from what people I speak to, is that they don't actually sell mobile. They just sell audience. But because of the nature of their audience, they are logged in across screens. So they just said, look, who do you want? Obviously, all within anonymity, etc., etc. And more often than not, those people are mobile. But because Facebook, with this ad tech stack, has been extremely clever, very methodical in how they've done it, they have been able to generate 76% of the total revenue. That's pretty astounding.
That's an amazing stat. Last on that panel, we had Nigel Gilbert from AppNexus. AppNexus, they really interest me, these guys. They've been not under the radar, but a bit of a quiet giant, cruising along in the background. And then all of a sudden this year, they got controversial. And at many events, they started having a pop at Google.
Oh, really?
Which I thought was great fun. What's behind that?
Well, some people might say it is a widely reported 2016 public listing, and that's come out and bloody the nose, the biggest company there is in the sector, would be one. Another one would be a lot of the people there that got their earnouts from the DBM buyout, finally been relinquished and free to go. Hello, Michael Rubenstein. Yeah, there are those kind of thoughts, but they have really announced themselves to the market. It is probably highly likely that they will list next year and go public. But let's look at some of the things that they've done. They've pulled together quite an impressive ad tech stack for the publisher side in particular. Earlier this year, back to the earlier point about consolidation, they bought YieldX, which they claim will help publishers better forecast how they can monetize their inventory. Most recently, I was out at the AppNexus Developers Publisher Summit in New York, where they unleashed header bidding, which will probably come up in the 2016 panel. A bit too much to get into right now. Which they see as a big rival for DBM. They have also just announced their viewability product, which they say will also rival DBM. They got into video. They claim to be cleaning up the inventory in terms of ad fraud on their platform. That was a little bit controversial. I know you saw some of the reaction on that whenever they first announced it.
Yeah, I did. There was a lot of reaction. People saying, well, if you knew that this was being committed, you'd taken one a hell of a long time to get there. I think that was a bit snarky. We know that programmatic has fraud issues. And it's, at least someone stood up and said, let's do something about it. But, that's something I'm going to be asking Nigel about on the day. And let's see what he has to say. Right, let's move on to our next. I'm going to give it a rest for the boxing analogies. I was going to say round two. So, but I think people are saying, what do you know about programmatic? Now, you know what? The DTAs, the Digital Trading Awards, which is one of our headline award schemes. The theme for this year is programmatic is the new normal ? Now, the reason I decided on that was that, I think there's an awful lot of assumed knowledge about this industry. There's an awful lot of people who think that the market knows more than they actually do. One of the reasons we're doing the event, obviously, is to bring more marketers and more publishers up to speed. How much knowledge do you think there really is in this space? Because, tell you my worry, I think sometimes you see the same people saying the same things to the same people an awful lot of the time. And I'm not convinced.
I think there's probably much less knowledge among the general marketing community than the programmatic industry thinks. Again, why you see the same names appearing again and again and again at conferences and panels and anywhere around the world, really, is the fact there probably isn't that level of knowledge that marketers are as comfortable standing up on stage alongside people like Paul Guns.
Yeah, I think it's to that point. I take a slight issue with what you say. I think there's probably a little bit more knowledge than we think, but people are just really not willing to get up and say it. There's very few people. There's Gubbins, it's Nigel, it's Sammy, etc. And the others.
Handily all three who are on the first panel.
Those are the first three that came to mind. But I think that there is just a lot more knowledge. People, it's a very soft knowledge, and people just don't want to make themselves look a bit ridiculous or get called out on stage.
Okay. Well, presenting that panel is going to be Bill Fisher from eMarketer. I don't know if any of you guys have seen him. I think he's fantastic. He's really going to get under the skin of that, and I, for one, am looking forward to that panel. We're going to move on, and let me just remind you, you still have the question option available. You're a very quiet audience. There's hundreds of you listening, so feel free to get involved. Ask us a question. Ask if we're really in a studio. Ask which one of us isn't wearing a shirt. Let's move on.
That's always happening.
It's always happening. The next slide, the next session is going to be, what is your agency really doing? Big topic, this one, because a lot of people question the agency's role in programmatic, especially those of a network agency, especially those tied into the big agency groups. They've been called out a lot this year. They've been called out over their relationships with their trading desks. Now, one of the things I'm interested in is that today you can see we've got Stefan there from Zenith Optimedia, we've got Danny from Viviki, we've got Martin from Infectious Media, but brilliantly the panel is chaired by a brand, so I'm really hoping that Sammy Austin from TUI, who we've already said really knows their stuff, is going to put the agencies through the mill here. I really want them to test them.
Yeah. Well, the genesis of this came from last year, whenever the WFA in the US, well, based primarily out of the US, published a paper written by Miko Kotila, and that was to really help educate the brand side marketers to the point that we just covered about some of the practices that are common within the big network agencies. And let's face it, let's call out another room. WPP's Axis is notorious among clients. I know the guys there. I'm not making a judgment call on what they do, but I've spoken to a lot of brand side marketeers, and they would draw question marks about the practice there. And then over the course of this last year, Zenith, Publicis Group, Viviki, AOD, they have taken that core programmatic trading desk model and spread that to the agencies. That's why we've invited Danny from Viviki and Stefan from Zenith. They can help articulate that. A lot of people are talking about that was something of a reaction for the demand for more transparency.
We've got a question. So this is Richard from Lancelot Media. What are our feelings around mobile programmatic in 2016? It's really difficult to get any visibility into how much mobile web in-app will be traded via PM via the major mobile spenders. What are our thoughts?
Okay. If you want to do mobile well right now, the popular perception is you go to Google or you go to Facebook. Those are the guys with the logged in data. And the point that I was making earlier on, the reason why they've been successful in mobile is that they don't sell mobile, they just sell audience. But yes, you are right, it's the mobile web in-app or the mobile in-app predominantly with them. There's not much visibility in it. These are the walled gardens that people are often talking about. When we get to the debate around the walled gardens, we will get the likes of AOL, the likes of AppNexus, other open advocates, the open ecosystem. You will hear them put that to the point where the likes of Facebook and Google will be arguing. I've had these conversations with both, and they've both given me the points of view, equally are valid in their own way, but to your point, you would just have to speak to both sides of the party and both sides of the argument and get their view on it.
Richard, thanks very much for the question. Just to remind you guys, please feel free to ask questions. You've got the dashboard or the questioning box on the right of the screen. Let's move on. Justin, stop hugging people. You're driving the machine. You can say we've done this before. The ethics of ad blocking. Elephants in the room. It's the big one. You can't do a programmatic conference without talking about ad blocking.
It's illegal.
It is, in fact, illegal. Not many people understand that. What I want to talk about is let's not throw in the usual guys who are going to get all arsey and start chucking punches around. Let's talk about people who actually know what's going on. So the people we've got coming, we've got Bob Watton, who's the Director of Media and Advertising at ISBA. Obviously, they'll be coming at it from a sort of standards and industry body point of view. The next one up is one of the most impressive people, I think, in this space, and he buys a great lunch. It's Justin Taylor, the MD of Teeds in the UK. Teeds, a very interesting company, doing some very interesting things.
One of the few European successes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then next up, very importantly, we've got a publisher, because you know what? Publishers are the people driving a lot of this. So we've got Nicole Holtzmark from the Telegraph Media Group. Now, I've got a theory.
I will just add, we are trying to get a pro ad blocker in. It's just sometimes it's difficult because they've been at a few this year and haven't really got necessarily easy right, but that is a work in progress.
Well, I think that would be great. I can understand it's going to be difficult being pro ad blocking in a room full of ad tech people. You know, here's my thing on this. I reckon ad blocking is a bit overblown. I don't think it's as big an issue as people think it's going to be.
Well, again, to the listeners, I'd be interested to get any thoughts you guys have on this, either during this session or afterwards. Please feel free to get in touch. I feel like this has been reported to death. How much is it overblown? I don't know. Whenever you're a publisher and you're already pretty challenged, let's say, by things like this, is like, oh God, this is one more.
But I think it is overblown or not, and arguably it is. I think the positive effects could be quite significant in that the reason why adblock is coming in is the rubbish that's been thrown at people for years.
Oh yeah, no one's
especially the last few years. So if this leads to a general sort of upping of the creative game across the industry, which a lot of people are saying it potentially will do, especially the big hitters and agencies, that can't be anything but a good thing.
But don't you think it's a bit hypocritical of people to say, because I have been at these conferences where people say, well, it's pretty good, yeah, because it'll clean up all the crap. It's like, but yeah, but most of these people that say that have been helping to throw around said crap for years. And get
without doubt, but sometimes something like acts as a catalyst for change. And
True. Yeah.
We'll talk about creators soon, but senior creatives, senior agency leaders to realise that there's something needs to be done here that can create a raise. That's a good thing. Whether that comes from a negative sort of source or not.
Yeah. Well, another thing is like we are getting, we're talking about the ethics of it, but what about the legality of it? I know this year one of the big things is in Germany and in France, people have tried to, the media owners there have tried to challenge IO, who
keep failing.
Yeah, keep failing. I mean, I think the legal. Okay, don't quote me on this, but I think the legality is if people choose to block ads on the things, like that is their own personal choice. I believe those were kind of at the note of the said rulings. I know that people here in the UK and in the US, they have contemplated challenging them legally, but actually just thought, you know what, better not give them free publicity. But I think that horse is bolted now. So yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Round three, the Great Divide, creative and programmatic. What does this mean for advertisers? We've had this discussion a lot, haven't we?
That discussion, and in Cannes this year, I mean, I spent my whole time sort of talking to either side, and the creators would talk about why these programmatic tech companies coming into Cannes as a row, yachts down the harbour, and the other side saying, why are creators interested in programmatic? It's a constant debate, and there seems to be some sort of schism arriving in the industry between the two sides.
Okay, well, we've got on that panel Tom Sturman from PokerStars, and as yet a mysterious representative from Scooter. I'm sure that we'll find out exactly who that is on the day. It's one of the great questions about programmatic. It's one we've never truly answered. Hopefully we can try and get some answers, bring a bit of clarity to that one. So remind you once again, please ask some questions.
But one thing I've heard spoken about is programmatic is about mass delivery of potential mass delivery of ad units to the right audience at the right time. We all know that cliche, but the creative people, they want unique, they want special, they want well. Are the two just incompatible? That's kind of one of the questions. Is it just, it's just never going to work? You're never going to get some great creative. It's really going to be engaging. One of the landmark moments that people are going to talk about in those top 50 ads of all time programmatic shows delivered via a programmatic channel. That's one of the arguments I've heard.
It is an argument, but again, it's a delivery mechanism. The delivery of an ad experience, and that ad experience is incredible. Yes, maybe not the landmark top 50 ads, maybe components, well, not potentially sometimes. That end creative experience isn't incredible. all delivery in the world is not going to be as effective. So that's where I think personally that it's circles.
Absolutely, and you know what? If we deliver a crap ad, it's a crap ad. It doesn't matter how brilliant the delivery. It doesn't matter how good the targeting behind it. If it's a crap ad, it's a crap ad. On that bombshell, let's move on. Now, one of my hobby horses, the publisher alliances. We've got some great people on this, and yet, as I hear around the industry, there's a lot of, and this is from publishers, some of whom are involved in these alliances, they're not entirely sure this is working. I think that we need to really push this one a bit harder. Now, Handley, we've got two of the finest people behind it. Well, actually, David, obviously BBC aren't in one of these alliances just yet. But then we have the wonderful Fiona McKinnon, who's general manager at the Pangea Alliance, which is, go back a bit, Justin, thank you. Pangea, for those who aren't sure, is the guys who, let's say, the slightly more upmarket businessy titles.
They're on the market. They're predominantly US and UK-based titles that have an international audience. Yeah, they would skew higher for your ABC1 target audience. It's people like The Guardian, The Economist, Thomson Reuters, CNN, and I would have to check.
Okay, and then after Fiona, we've got Julia Smith, who's put together she's very a big part in putting together the AOP Alliance of Publishers.
Smatchia.
Pardon?
Smatchia.
Have you just sneezed? Smatchia, that's a real name. Excellent.
It's an Itching Creek for Alliance, I've been told.
Well, that's fantastic. Julia will be representing those. So that's a different group of publishers, including the Express Group and perhaps some smaller publishers. But obviously their opinion is as well. After that, Mark Sile from Essence, recently acquired by WPP, and Wayne Morgan, another publisher who's from Archant. Archant aren't a part of this just yet, are they?
No, well, one of the reasons why we thought it would be interesting to include Archant is, so if you look at the companies that are kind of assembling or enabling these alliances, that is Rubicon Project and AppNexus, our good old friends at AppNexus again. And one of the key selling points that they have is that they said this enables quality publishers, to the point that we were saying earlier on about Pangea, and Smatchia also has some very quality publishers, that this enables them to scale to a point where they can compete with Google and Facebook, who are killing all these publishers in terms of competition for ad revenue. Now, basically, if we look at the stories about the media, this is smaller players like an Archant or Johnson Press or I'm from in Ireland, O'Reilly Media.
Yeah.
Yes. But these people are getting murdered by digital, especially. So it'd be interesting, why haven't you joined one of these alliances? Are you talking about joining one of these publisher alliances? And the reason why, if we go to one of the other panelists, why I've included Mark Sile, who's the joint MD of Essence, now owned by Group M, interestingly, is that I've spoken to him in the past, and he has some very, very interesting views about some of the trading practices that these outfits have had. Not these two in particular, but elsewhere. So this model is very established in France, and it's been quite controversial.
Yeah, I mean, this is a thing that's happened overseas a lot earlier. Rubicon obviously set up Laplace Media over in France. They've got a lot of experience in this. I'm still not convinced. Let's see what they say on the day. Right, let's move on. You might be able to hear a slight fire alarm in the background. We're not going anywhere. So why is this event different? Well, it's because your presenters will be burning live. This turns out to be a real fire. I'm going to move very quickly through this. This event is different because we're truly questioning things. We want marketers to question the practitioners. We want the publishers to question the agencies. We really want to get under the skin of this, and that's why we want you to get involved. We want you to get involved this morning. Please feel free to hammer in your questions. Yes. Richard from Lancelot leads 1-0 over literally hundreds of listeners who apparently haven't found the question panel on the right. Let's move on. So the second half of the day, we'll be looking at 2016, what's to come. Starting that will be Chris Childs, he's from Tabmo, and Jamie West from Sky Media. Now, we've highlighted programmatic TV, mobile, and then we went ... which I don't think was that ambitious of us. What's coming in 2016? Is it ad block again? Is it the year of mobile? Let's not get down that route. Everything will be traded programmatically. We're seeing out of home being traded programmatically now. Yeah. Some interesting moves in that space. Audio. You know, we've said it for a while now that everything that could be traded programmatically will be traded programmatically. Isn't that going to happen, Ronan?
Well, not quite next year, I don't think. A lot of the legacy businesses are making too much money out of the way old media was traded.
Absolutely, yeah.
The business incentive is not there for them to change just yet, particularly with TV, where here in the UK, because the presence of the BBC massively skews the market. So you've got a relatively small amount of players that are doing just fine the way things are. Thank you very much. So they'll not be changing anytime soon until the buy side demands that they change more.
Sky making a lot of interesting moves in space.
Yeah, well, obviously they were one of the key kind of presenters at this year's IAB Digital Upfronts, where they displayed the Sky Media at Smart Style. And what I found particularly interesting was that they were offering a managed service buy, which kind of brings into the whole conversation is like, oh, is this Sky Media possibly acting as a media agency fulfilling some of those functions? I'm not saying they are, but you can see how it could easily go that way.
Cool. Where do we think Google will move this year? What are their key plans? They've gone a bit quiet on us, which always makes me wonder what they're up to. Any news coming out of the big G?
Well, yeah, they're making a lot of noise about ad fraud.
Oh, well, everybody is.
They are also making a lot of noise about TV and YouTube in particular. Obviously, their YouTube boss, she came out and said that they were looking to trade, that they felt that any brand advertisers within a certain vertical, I was told, should be putting 24% of their TV spend via YouTube in order to get that. Maybe that figure is a little bit skewed, but it certainly articulates the ambition that they have. So yeah, even if just because they've gone quiet doesn't mean they're not going anywhere. They've got their answer to header bidding. They got every finger and everything. Remember, it's the biggest digital advertising company in the world.
Absolutely. Facebook will still be telling everyone they're a mobile company ad nauseum.
They'll probably have to screen agnostic. They're also going for TV. They're also going for video as well, which are going after the TV budgets.
Yeah, I suppose so. Right, I'm conscious of the time. We've only got a half-hour slot in the studio, and we've got about a minute and a half left to go. So all the afternoon of the event will be taken up with a look at 2016. We're going to be really uncovering it, asking the questions that marketers and publishers and the ad tech world will need to know. I think it'll be a lot of fun. We really want people to get involved in that. Okay, so the event, December the 8th, in the Hospital Club, with a boxing ring. First time ever that's happened. Oakes, Pearse, Shields, wearing dressing gowns of a boxing sort. It'll be bigger than Klitschko and Fury. It'll be bigger than the Rumble in the Jungle. I may have overblown it slightly, but it will be the most fun you can have whilst talking about programmatic. Thank you very much for listening. It's been great fun this morning. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please go to the site. Please register. Please ask us any questions you want to know. So my thanks to Ronan for answering a lot of questions he hadn't actually prepared for. My thanks for Justin to pressing the buttons. Thank you very much, everybody. And we will speak to you soon.
Goodbye.